On today's episode of the DeRaud-Messinger Show, we're previewing and predicting number 15 Texas at Arkansas. Longhorns fans, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. It's greatly appreciated. So to begin, we have some basic game info for you guys. The game will be on Saturday at 6 p.m. Central Time at Donald W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium in Fayetteville, Arkansas. And the game will be televised on ESPN. And Dylan, the Longhorns are favored by 6.5 points. So get us into that good scouting report you got.
Well, Devon, Texas's keys to success in this matchup is going to be to force turnovers. I don't believe they forced any turnovers in their matchup against Louisiana, so that defense is going to need to step up. This is an Arkansas team that if they get ahead with their running game, it's going to be very difficult for Texas to get back into it unless they force some turnovers. Next, I have control the pace. That's if you take over, you get up to a 10-point lead early against this Arkansas team. They don't have the ability to really throw the ball like Texas can, and I don't think they're going to be able to mount those type of comebacks that you would see from other SEC teams. So, again, if they get ahead, probably going to keep that, especially if they're just running the ball to Bijan, which is the next one. Just give the ball to Robinson, Devon. It's not
just
that
do
hard.
it.
Card can win the MVP, or the Heisman, by just handing the ball to Robinson, I feel like. That's all he really needs to do here.
I think that's Heisman worthy.
Yeah, mix in some play action with 5-yard dump-offs, and you're set. So, obviously, coming from last matchup, Card did impress me. He went 14 for 21, 224 yards passing, and 2 touchdowns. So, obviously, he took care of the ball, made the passes when he needs to, made critical plays. And then Robinson, of course, 103 yards rushing, a touchdown, mixed in with 4 receptions for 73 yards and another touchdown. So, Devon, if they can replicate those kind of numbers and, obviously take care of the football, I think they're going to be successful. Now, talking about Arkansas, their offense is going to be very run-heavy. My keys to success for them is to make Card uncomfortable. If you make him look like a redshirt freshman, you have a chance to win this game. If they contain Robinson, which is a lot harder than it. Easier said than done is what I'm trying to say. Yes, if you can hold them under 100 yards rushing, maybe force a turnover, you're going to be in a really good spot to win this game. And then, in my hand, Danny knows, I just have KJ got to throw, Devon. He's got to throw.
For who, Arkansas or Texas?
For Arkansas. KJ Jefferson has to throw the ball. He went 12 of 21 with 128 yards passing. Obviously, he's able to run with the football. He had 89 yards rushing, so that's where he's going to be dangerous. So, obviously, this Texas defense is going to need to keep him in the pocket and make him make throws.
I like all those points. My scouting report, you got Traylon Smith, led the Razorbacks in rushing last year. He's going to have to be the one that the Razorbacks are relying on in this game, as you touched upon. KJ Jefferson, they played Rice last week. Did not look great in terms of SEC quarterbacks right now. He has some weight to pull in order to get caught up with the top ones. But just a quick note, Dylan, I believe the Longhorns forced a fumble against Louisiana. You guys let us know if we're wrong on that. But KJ Jefferson, getting back to him, you said the stats. He did not look good against Rice. Threw a pick and not too many yardage. The completion percentage wasn't in the 60s. I believe it was in the 50s. Not a good stat for you against Rice of all D1 teams. But if you're getting caught up on KJ Jefferson, you got to also mention Treylon Burks, his main wide receiver threat. He's going to have to win some matchups against Deshaun Jameson, which if you guys watch the Longhorns enough, you know that's a hard task to do. But defense is where we want to talk about, Dylan, okay? Why are we talking about offense all the time?
You got to talk about that linebacker core, Devon. You got to talk about those linebackers there.
Exactly. But first, safety. They got Jalen Catalon, a sophomore who was a preseason All-American for the Razorbacks. He already had 2 interceptions, dose 2 against Rice. If he keeps up those numbers for the season, he's going to have about 24 interceptions. Hopefully, for the Longhorns' sake, Card does not let that happen, but he's going to be someone to watch in that secondary. But in terms of that linebacker core, Dylan, there you go. Grant Morgan got ejected for targeting in the first half of the Rice game. So he missed that game, so his stats aren't there, obviously, but he will be back for the Texas game. Now, the other linebacker to watch out for, Bumper Poole, who is also one of those players to watch. He's got 101 tackles last year. he got ejected for targeting in the second half of that Rice game. So he's not going to be available in the first half of this Longhorns game. So note to Bijan, and you said Hudson Card, get down, slide, practice that during this week. I don't want to see Morgan or Poole get near you unless they have a warrant. And then overall, that's just going to be something they're going to have to take advantage of that first half with Poole out. Morgan obviously is going to be leading the team in the meantime, but you got to strike fast. Now, Dylan, who are some of your X factors?
Well, Devin, for my X factors, you touched on a warrant. Obviously, Card's going to need to have a restraining order going into this game to keep these guys 6 feet apart from him because
hopefully some Texas judges here.
Exactly. Hopefully they're a little biased. But again, I've touched on it earlier. Do not force anything to this defense. If it's, let's say, a tied game and you give up a critical interception, this is when Arkansas can really make you pay, especially when they're on the other side of the 50-yard line. So for Texas to really pull this game out and not pull a Texas, it's to keep that turnover ratio below 2 or hopefully 1.
Okay.
And then my X factors for Arkansas is obviously KJ is going to have to do more than just use his feet. The linebacker core for Texas is going to be tough for him to get by, obviously with Ray Thornton, Marvin Overshawn, and Luke Brockemeyer, who impressed last week. So, again, Devin, he's going to have to be looking for his wide receivers like Treylon Burks and Tyson Morris. So, just keep him in the pocket. Texas is looking in a good situation here.
I agree. My X factor for this game is that Longhorns defensive front. They were my X factor in the last game, so it might be cheating them putting them in this X factor category 2 games in a row. But as you said, you got to force pressure on the running backs of Arkansas. That way you can get KJ to have to rely on his arm. Now, he might beat you, he might not, but if you're the Longhorns, you really got to have to put him in that position where that's how it is. He's going to have to beat you with his arm because he hasn't shown that he's been able to do that. But obviously he's got some extra motivation this week, and Texas rolling into town, always a big rival for Arkansas. But also worth noting about that Longhorns defensive front, they only allowed 76 yards rushing to Louisiana, and yet still remained relatively quiet. You didn't hear the Keandre Coburn's name called too much at the stadium. So maybe Snacks is saving, his starvation for this game so he can eat a little bit. But Dylan, what's your danger level?
My danger level going in this game, it's a road game, so I'm going to be having it at a 4 or 5. Obviously, the only game we have to go off of right now is the Louisiana matchup. That's not they were ranked, but this isn't an SEC team that they were facing. So this is going to be a good test to see where they're at going into the Big 12 competition. So I've got it sitting at a 4 or 5, Devin.
Okay, that's right on with what I got. I got a 5. Now, as you said, it's a road game, so that's kind of what gives it a little bit higher of a register, and it's a rival, so Arkansas is definitely going to be playing for the challenge. But they haven't proven to be able to take on a team like Texas. But with that being said, I think they are going to be ready for this game. And Texas, Card specifically, Bijan, is really going to have to deal with that environment on the road. Now, what's your prediction?
Well, my prediction is going to be a 35-24 win for Texas. Again, like you just said, this game for Arkansas is basically their college football playoff, Devin. So this is going to be the one they're going all out for. If they win this, they can just lose the rest of the season and be happy. So expect Arkansas to really come out with a lot of force. But again, I got an 11-point win for Texas.
I'm going to have to disagree with you there. Knowing Arkansas fans, they're loud and proud. They want win against Alabama and Florida and LSU too.
I'm sure they do. Yep.
But a win against Texas definitely will satisfy them for a couple of weeks. But with that being said, I got Texas winning this one, 31-20. I think Bijan is really going to have to be relied upon here. I think he's going to do good enough a job where the Longhorns aren't going to have to worry too much. But Card, as you said earlier in the video, he's got to take care of the football. And also worth noting, as I said before, the environment is going to be crazy. I don't know what percentage, Dylan, of that Arkansas student body is from the state of Texas. And I know that the football team itself, probably a third of it is from the great state of Texas. So there's going to be a lot of envy there and a lot of noise to be had. So let's see if the Longhorns can take care of business on the road. What do you guys think about this game? Give us your predictions down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a great rest of your day.